Habits for Humans, the podcast that explores what makes people tick and how to program this brain of ours to do what we actually want it to do. We're going to explore why we can sometimes and in some areas of our lives achieve extraordinary accomplishments, while other times we are addicted to Cheetos and watching TV. If we want to be healthy and happy, what is the secret to programming our brain to maximize our potential? And I've got a great guest with us today. I'm super excited to talk to her. Sunnee, you have one of the most just positive and upbeat personalities. So Sunnee has COVID right now, active COVID, and here she is smiling and happy and doing a podcast. So I love it. Thanks for being on here, Sunnee. I'm your host, Kim Flynn. Today we're going to talk to Sunnee, who I'll actually introduce in just a second here. We're going to talk about sustainability and lifelong habits. You know, one of my favorite topics. Lifelong versus the quick fix. So I love this quote from her. She says, instead of taking on heroic, perfectionistic feats, and think about the last diet or exercise program you started, heroic, perfectionistic feats, right? Why don't we start with simple behaviors executed daily, which set you up for success? And as much as I have a mission right now to end dieting, I really, really feel that for myself, for my family, for our listeners. I would love to end dieting. I still get sucked into it. I was on TikTok last night, for hours in the bathtub, my personal guilty pleasure. And this guy came on, kind of like a Tim Ferriss guy, and he likes to do human body experiments. And he did a 16-day water fast and he lost a bunch of weight. And still, even though I preach this and I have products about this and I have a company about this, still in my brain, I'm tempted to be like, oh, maybe I should try a water diet. Sunnee, heroic, perfectionistic feats. Instead of that, why don't we start with simple behaviors? I love that. So I'm super excited to get into that with her. We do have giveaways. We've got 2 really nice giveaways at the end for our listeners. So if you like free stuff, stay tuned to the end. And before we introduce Sunnee, I'd love to do a word from our sponsor. Habits for Humans is brought to you by Card Salad, a health and wellness company that teaches you how to program your brain using systems and habits. So you know how everyone wants to eat healthy, but if you haven't meal planned for the week, you just go to the freezer and you pull out, chicken nugget, dino nuggets, and and maybe you'll throw in like a microwavable pack of peas or something, right? And we call that dinner. It's so hard to meal plan if you're not in the habit of doing it. So what we've done is created a product that meal plans for you. It's called Eat Well. It's a done for you meal planning system. It comes with this beautiful menu board that you hang on your fridge. The recipe cards hang on the menu board, so you always know what's for dinner. It comes with done for you shopping lists. So you simply enter those into your online shopping grocery store. Your groceries are delivered every week for you, and all of your meal planning is done for you. And there's also habit cards in there, habits that you read every day that slowly instill the habits of taking care of yourself. If we try to do, I'm going to read that quote again, if we try to do a heroic, perfectionistic feat, we won't be successful. So the program starts with simple behaviors executed daily. So stay tuned to the end here of this podcast, and we'll give you a 7-day meal planning done for you system that you can get to your email inbox immediately. So I'm super excited to introduce Sunnee. Sunnee has been in the fitness and coaching industry for over 18 years, even though she looks 23. She's working with her clients to shed unwanted weight, fuel to feed their bodies, re-energize, and feel their best at any age. She works one-on-one to help others develop healthy habits, which serves the future of their health. The number one feedback she gets from those she works with is that they feel better now than they feel better now than they did in their glory days. Oh my goodness. Talk to me about that, Sunnee. We all have glory days. I want to hear your glory day. I want to tell you about my glory day. And I think honestly, glory days can hurt us because we look back and think, oh, those days. Tell me about glory days.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, thank you for having me here. Super stoked about this. You have such a great podcast voice. First off, I'm just going to say,
thank you.
Glory days. Yeah. It's so funny. Like we all have that time where like, we're telling a story and we like rosy up and we're like, oh, the days, but like the grass is always greener, right? Like, I think there was a quote in The Office that he said, I wish we knew we were living the glory days when we were actually living them.
Oh, I love that. The Office waxes poetic sometimes.
Yeah, it's Andy's character, and he's talking about like, oh, I wish we just knew. And I think we can always make anything our glory days. Like I think back to like when I was in high school, and well, that was my glory day because I didn't think about food constantly and think about my body constantly and all of that. And so like we're always striving to like get back to that feeling that we had without realizing that like when we live in the moment, that is the glory day.
I love that.
Yeah.
My glory day would be when I was in my probably late 20s, early 30s. I decided to get really fit, and I did this extreme diet and exercise program, the 12-week diet, and you're in really good shape at the end of those 12 weeks. It's completely not sustainable. It's completely not how I'd want to eat for the rest of my life. And then we hold ourselves to that standard, or else I did for a long time, held myself that standard. Oh, if only I had enough discipline or motivation, or was, a good enough person, then I could be in that. It's completely unsustainable though. So let's jump into it then. We always start with your number one habit to manage your own mental wellness. What's the practice you do to manage the stress of daily life, Sunnee?
What I'm doing right now, breathing. Breathing and meditating. I have become like a meditation junkie. And meditating can be so simple. It could be, I think when I first started meditating, I was like, oh my God, like I don't have 20 minutes to sit down under a tree like Buddha and like clear my mind. But like all meditation is like dropping into the present moment. And we just do that with breathing. And so I do like 30-second meditations throughout the day. Like I do it when I wake up, I focus on my breath. I think about, how happy I am to be in my bed with heat, with my cat next to me. Before meetings when I get super stressed, before workouts when I'm warming up and I'm like doing my like warm up sequence, I'm setting my intention for my workout. And I think that's like what breathing brings us to is like the present moment, being present in yourself, bringing intention to what we're doing. Because as humans, we're always thinking about the next. It's like, okay, well, after this, then I have to do this. And then, like, while we're grocery shopping, we're like, okay, I have to run this errand next. And we tend to lose these little moments in life that make life so spectacular. So I think when we drop into the present, when we focus on our breathing, when we focus on, just that present moment, it just allows us to like shed the noise that's around us constantly.
I love that. Love that. Love that. So if we were to drop into the present right now for the next 15 seconds, how would you tell people to do that?
Well, first of all, so I'll just talk you through it. So I want you to, be seated or standing. If you're seated, feet on the ground, back up, chest open, and you just close your eyes. And we do like I do like 3-3-3 breathing. So you inhale for 3. So we go inhale, 1, 2, 3. You hold it, and then slow exhale, 1, 2, 3. You hold it. Do that one more time. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Long exhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold it.
I love it. And here we are. Here
Here
we
we
are,
are.
calm and peaceful and in the moment. I
Yes,
love
ma'am.
that. Let's jump into your message. So you talked about we don't do extreme things. It's just the simplicity of day to day, long-term habits versus the quick fix. If you had one message that you wanted to like implant into the brains of every listener here, what would that message be?
I mean, I think you said it a few times. Like, health doesn't have to be complex. Health is very simple. It's doing the simple, easy, boring stuff, but doing it every day. It's making sure you're hydrated, making sure you're sleeping well and you're waking up energized. You're moving at some point for exercise every day. We're feeding our bodies food that's good for us. And we're also feeding our brains, whether it's through what I was talking about with meditating or reading or going out with your friend that makes you laugh so hard that you're like curled up in a ball crying on the ground because just from tears of joy. But the interesting thing is like we go after this like quick fix because like A, we want the instant gratification, and B, it's sexy to be like, someone be like, oh my God, Kim, you look so great. And you're like, well, let me tell you what I did for the last 12 weeks. Da, 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 and you're like boastful, right? But then like, I'm sure you fucking hated your life when you were doing it. You were like, oh my God, you were hungry, you were tired, you were like dreading the gym and all of that. And like, when people are just like, oh, like all I have to do is like drink water and eat well and stop eating when I'm feeling full and like laugh and move, like it's not sexy, but it's damn effective. And like the simple is what makes us succeed. When we go into complexity, that's when we start to derail ourselves.
I love that. Let's talk about that complexity thing. It's almost like as humans, we want like this sophisticated system or something to follow because we don't quite trust ourselves. Like we don't trust ourselves to say, do I like going to the gym? And if you don't, maybe we should choose something different,
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we're like, no, I need to follow this exact process, this exact system. And we trust people outside of ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like one of the things that I'm really working to do within like the health and fitness community is like to show people that like simplicity, it's all about simplicity. Like it's all about doing these really boring like habits are like some of these things that I get my clients to do, they're like, that's it? That's all I have to do. And they're like, wait, shouldn't I be macro counting? Shouldn't I be weighing all my food? Like, when should I be eating protein? And I'm like, whoa, hold on. Like, are you even like eating protein? And they're like, no, but when should I eat it? I'm like, okay, step one, eat the protein, right? Step two, then we can get into complexity. But like as humans, like, I think we think that like being healthy is like some magical, ominous thing that's like really hard to achieve because like I think we're just conditioned, like, and it might be the American way. I don't know. I'm going off on a little tangent here, but like that, like anything worth having has to be hard. Like there has to be some like magic, like 14-day water fast or like 2 a days in the gym, or like the celery detox and like the grapefruit diet. Like, do you remember that? Where all you
Yeah.
ate was celery and grapefruit? Ew, so gross. They're good, but not every day, all day. Yeah, and I just think that like we just have the tendency to like overwork things because the fact of the matter is that like simple isn't sexy, and like diet culture and health culture out there, like they need that shtick, they need that fad, so they make
Yeah.
it really convoluted.
Everything with value has to be hard. I think we hold that as Americans. I don't know because I am an American outside of the country, but we
Yeah,
definitely hold that for health. I think we also hold that for business. It must be difficult. We must push. Even relationships. I must carry this relationship. Like we want to do this hard work when actually it can be really simple and just requires listening to
yeah.
ourselves, listening to our lives. Talk to me about
And I
your story, Sunnee. Where did you get started? Have you always been fit? And has that always been a priority in your life? What was your journey?
yeah. Yes and no. So I mean I grew up playing sports. I grew up athletic. You can't tell because I'm sitting, but I'm 5'10", I'm tall, I'm lean, and I'm athletic. Playing soccer, volleyball, all of that. I was really blessed to be raised in a household with fit and healthy parents. I already, right out of the bat, I was already teed up to prioritize my health. We didn't have sugary foods in the house. We didn't have sugary sodas. My parents, were well off. Like we could afford good vegetables and all of that. And I grew up playing tennis and soccer. So I grew up in an active family. So I already had that like proverbial like silver spoon of health in my mouth. So like already all of these barriers that I think a lot of people face that like we're just brought into this world of like having, parents or siblings that smoke or, like only being able to afford like certain foods, I already have realized that like I was already set up for health. And I grew up in the 80s. I grew up, I'm 40 years old. I grew up in the era of the airbrush painted, you know, the only picture of beauty is like slim and slender. And so I held myself up to that standard. In college, I took ephedra. I took that diet pill ephedra. I was always looking for that quick fix. I always worked out, almost to the point where I did a little bit of like barterment with myself of like, oh, okay, like if you spend 2 hours in the gym today, then you can go out and enjoy your pizza. To a little bit of that, like, there's like exercise bulimia, right? To where like you eat and then you're like, okay, well, that cupcake was 200 calories. So now I'm going to work out for 200 calories. So I definitely like chased that fad and that culture, up until probably like, I'll be really honest, like I was reflecting last night, like probably the last 3 to 5 years. Of just looking for that quick fix, reading that 14-day water diet or the celery cleanse, or do you remember like the skinny detox teas where it's like, all you have to do is drink this tea, right? I chased it. I did the colonics. I'm like, oh, like I'm going to do detoxing and I'm going to get colonics. Like that's going to get me good. Or like the pads that you put on the bottom of your feet that are supposed to remove toxins. Like I was always looking for that like quick hit through diet pills or through Atkins. And what ended up happening is like I'd get hit with this like fleet of motivation, and like I'd be riding high on my motivation, and I'd be like holding myself up to these standards that like quite honestly I would never hold any of my clients up to, like this heroic unrealistic perfection. And like I looked good, but I fucking hated my life. Like I would eat, like I would eat by myself, like I would eat before going out with friends, so that way like I could be good in front of friends. And like it turned into like a little bit of like this like inner like darkness, I guess, because I was just always like chasing after things. And then I would say about 5 years ago, I got really into like self-coaching, life coaching, health coaching, and about like, God, like I just want to be happy. Like I want to be happy with my food choices. I want to work out because I want to, not just because I know it's good for me. I want to find enjoyment in it. And that's when I started exploring. And like Kim, you said before about like, people feeling like they have to go to the gym. It's like, well, no, like any type of movement that moves your body that you find enjoyment, like dance in your living room, like do yard work, like go run up the sand dunes if you want to. And so I really started like exploring, like, what do I want? What do I love? What type of foods give me the energy that I need? That's when, I started meditating and coaching myself and realizing that like, there is no like magic pill. There is no like complex, like macro counting to this, to that. It really is like the boring shit that we just have to do it every day. Like you look at Michael Phelps and you look at Oprah and you look at Barack Obama and these people that are at the top of their game, and you ask them like, what are you doing? Like when you really layer down to it, like they're doing really boring, simple stuff, but every day until it becomes just automated. Yeah. And that's a really long-winded answer to your question, but
I loved all of it.
Yeah, that's my journey. Like I went into some really like dark places, and I did the whole like, I was single for a really long time of my life. And I was like, oh, well, love will find me when I have a six pack. Like, what the fuck? Like, love will find me when I have a six pack. Like, are you kidding me? Like, well, I'll be desirable when I can wear whatever I want and like show off my midriff. And like, I found love with someone else when I found love with myself. And I was like, no, like, I love myself exactly how I am, because exactly how I am is exactly who I'm supposed to be right now. And so like, yeah, it's been an interesting roller coaster for sure. Like us professionals, like we don't have it figured out. We still have our struggles for sure. And anyone that tells you that they haven't figured out is a big fat liar.
So many good things in here. Let me go through some of these. You talked about chasing. So here you are, this person who grew up fit, You look incredibly fit now. You've never, lost 50 pounds or 100 pounds or whatever else. Like you've always been fit. And it's so interesting to me that whether you are thin and muscular or whether you are not thin and not muscular, the exact same brain principles are taking place there. We are chasing something.
Yeah.
Will you talk to me more about what are we chasing when we try extreme diets, whether we need to lose weight, whether we don't need to lose weight, whether we're in incredible shape or not? The same problem is happening. We're all taking the same drug. What are we
Mhm.
chasing, Sunnee?
I think our primitive brain is designed to seek pleasure and avoid pain. So I think anything that we do when we really drill down to it, like we're chasing more pleasure. We're chasing that next high, that next shiny object. Like I did a training with Tony Robbins and we were talking about like think about like the last goal that you had and like when you achieve that goal and like when you were thinking about it like okay, when I do this, I will be happy. And then the happiness in your mind, you're like, oh my God, like it's gonna be the best day ever. Like it's gonna be my birthday every day. Now think about when you actually achieved that goal. What happened? How long were you actually happy? And like all of his research showed that people were actually living in that happiness for like 4 hours. And then it was like on to the next thing. And I really think it's because like we're always looking to the next, we're always looking to the future and not realizing that like we have everything we need right now in our lives to make ourselves happy. 100%. There's so a book oh my god, I'm forgetting the name of it, but there's a quote in it and it's an old school book and all he said, oh, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. If you haven't read it, read it. It is an amazing book. And his quote is, where are we? We're here. When are we? We're now. And until we can live in the here and the now, we will always be chasing that next happiness, that next shiny object.
And everyone has that different high or different drug of choice, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it is chasing health in air quotes, right? It's having the perfect model figure. And what's the ultimate irony to me is when people actually have the ultimate model figure, is oftentimes when they're the least happy. They become so obsessed and they're looking for this body to fix their happiness, that when they get there they're like, oh, they're even more obsessed. So I like the
Yeah.
high that we're chasing, and to really look and say, okay, when I obsess about, oh, my stomach needs to look a certain way, I need to have a six-pack or whatever it is for you, to ask yourself, what am I chasing right now? um,
Mhm.
I also liked that you asked, what do I want? Um, what do I want? I've been asking myself that this holiday season, as there have been so many just complete junk food everywhere, and that's usually not what we have in our household. And I'm usually not super tempted by sweets, but when it's right there in front of you 24/7 for like 2 weeks straight,
Mhm.
you have to start asking yourself questions. And so instead of for me saying deny, 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 I can't, I asked myself, what do I want? And I was like, oh, I think I want to eat more sweets than I normally do and not feel guilty about that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that.
Mhm.
That feels really good. What do I want? What do I want? What do I want in my food? What do I want in my exercise? What do I want? I love that.
Yeah. One,
Let's go
you know,
on. Oh, go
oh,
ahead.
I was gonna say if I were to coach you through that, so like I've coached a lot of my clients through this. So like there's a few things, right? Like number one, I would say like just avoid the temptation altogether. Like if you have control of the foods you bring into your house and you know that you can't control yourself around cookies, like just don't bring the cookies into the house, right? Like level one. But one of the tactics that I use with my clients where it's like, oh my goodness, like this food is presenting itself or like whatever it is
It's
that
literally ringing the doorbell every night and as neighbors deliver food, which is so kind.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So what I do with my clients, I have like a really simple like three-step question. It's like so you ask yourself like like what do I want, right? And you might be like I want to eat the damn cookie. And then you go How will I feel while I'm eating the cookie? You go, wow, I'm going to feel really happy. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to eat it slowly. How will I feel after I'm eating the cookie? And it's like, I'm going to feel good because I'm going to allow myself to eat one cookie and then I'm done. So then you're like, okay, I can eat the cookie. If your answers are, well, I want to eat the cookie because it's there. How will I feel while I'm eating it? And you're like, well, I'm going to feel like a piece of shit because I know I'm going off my diet. How will I feel 5 minutes after? Oh, I'm going to beat myself up about it. Right. Then you know that there's something going on in your head. So it's like just simple 3 steps. Like, what do I want now? How will I feel during? How will I feel 5 minutes, 1 hour, the next day after? And if you can control your mind through that process, then really, like, you can control your mind through any process. And it really gives you a lot of insight into like how you feel about food or how you feel about exercise or about anything you're experiencing.
Oh, so interesting. And so if,
Mhm.
let's say I'm debating, should I go to the gym today or not? I ask myself, what do I want? I don't want to go to the gym. How do I feel about it right now? I feel kind of disappointed in myself. And how will I feel after? I'll be like regretting that I made that choice because then I'll have to go the next day and I like to go every other day. So that's nice. Those 3 questions
Yeah.
really work. I'm like, oh yeah, I
Yeah.
need to get to the gym. I
Well,
like
and
that. All
then what
right,
I tell
some
my
wrap up
clients,
questions for you that
okay,
are kind of odd.
yeah,
What do you think you should enjoy that you don't?
like in life.
You can take it any direction you want to. What do you think you should enjoy that you don't? In exercise and fitness and eating, in life?
Mm. Well, I mean, there's certain, like, I don't understand Star Wars and Star Trek, and I hate cilantro, and everybody likes cilantro. What do I think I should enjoy that I don't? I'll be really honest. I thought I should enjoy like any type of exercise. I thought I should love Olympic lifting and heavy strength training. And I set a goal for myself to like, I'm going to deadlift like 3 times my max weight, like 3 times my body weight, because I thought that's like what I should do. And I just don't. Like, I like working out really hard and moving my body and like feeling fit.
No need for Olympic weightlifting then.
Right. I was like, I should really enjoy lifting heavy because I have my clients lift heavy, but only my clients that enjoy lifting heavy. And I was like, but I should
Got
enjoy
it.
it. And I just don't. I'm like, eh.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Similar question then. What do you think you should believe that you don't in the health and wellness industry? I'm just throwing these at you with no prep here.
I know. I'm looking out my window for inspiration. What do I say it again? What do I think
What
I
do you think you
should
should
believe
believe
that
that
I
you don't?
don't?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'll get on my squat box. I think that fitness industry is trying to make you believe that being fit is really hard and being healthy is really hard, and it's not. It's very simple. You don't have to buy programs. You don't have to buy gym memberships. It's free for everyone.
That's really powerful. That's really powerful.
Yeah.
We're going
Yeah.
to wrap it up on that powerful note of simplicity over complexity. We have 2 giveaways today. We've got a giveaway from our sponsor, Card Salad. When you go to habitsforhumans.com, you can sign up for a free 7-day Eat Real Foods challenge, which is essentially 7 days of recipes, a done for you shopping list. All your meal planning is done for you in 1 week. So go to habitsforhumans.com to find out or to get that. And then for Sunnee, she has a digital download for you. It's called 7 Days to Reignite Your Health. You're going to go to Sunnee Blake Fitness. It's SUNNEE, sunneeblakefitness.com. And you'll find that there. And you'll also find that in the show notes, whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on any of our podcast stations. You can find all these links in the show notes. Sunnee, will you talk to us more about the 7 Days to Reignite Your Health?
Yeah, it's really cool because it goes hand in hand with your 7-day eat real food thing. So it really is like a 7-day, like, healthy living reset. So in the beginning of the podcast, I talked about 5 simple habits that if we can stay hydrated, if we get proper sleep hygiene, if we utilize movement as exercise every day, if we eat real foods to nourish our bodies, And if we do something to feed our mind, if we can hone in on those 5 habits every single day, that is the foundation to living our optimal, healthy life. And so it's a 7-day guided reset to where, you go to my website, it's a PDF download. I have videos that talk you through a lot of the days. And it's really designed to like reassess your life and reassess where you are right this moment. Find the bright spots, find the things that like, oh, wow, like a lot of people are like, I had no idea that I was like doing 3 of these habits without even realizing it. And then it's also designed to help you figure out like what your next goal should be. If eating nutrition, like eating real foods, minimally processed whole foods every day is really a tough challenge for you, then maybe that's your next area that you focus on. And I've done this in 30-day challenges and 60-day challenges, and the results are absolutely remarkable. So this is just like a small section, a small little blip to really just show you like, what are your bright spots? Where are the opportunities? And then I educate you the entire way. I believe, I have 18 years experience. I counted them. I have 15 certifications. And I believe that health is a right that everybody has. And so I really aim to educate people every single day on things that they can do right then and there to make themselves, the healthiest versions of themselves.
I love it. I feel the passion for you in there. This comes from a very genuine place and a very enthusiastic place, which I love too. I have here in my notes that the 7-day plan can be used as a recovery week from a week of debauchery in Cabo. So I think that's funny. Or a week of holiday eating. So I love that. So again, go to sunneeblakefitness.com, and it's SUNNEE, sunneeblakefitness.com. Thank you, Sunnee, for joining us. Love that conversation. Love getting to know you as a person. You have a great energy about you. Thank you to our listeners as well. This is Habits for Humans, the podcast that teaches you how to program your brain to maximize your potential. Thank you in advance for giving us a positive review. Thanks, everyone.